Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me from. Today's is July the 29th. Happy weekend to everybody. Happy weekend to everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekends. Um, I hope you guys are enjoying your weekends. So today is another day for another broadcast. All right. So where is everybody? Where is everybody? How are you? How are you? How are you? Today I'm going to try to rebroadcast. Last week video wasn't clear. So today I promise that I'm going to repeat the topic today. I promise I'm going to repeat the topic today. What you must have in your diabetics emergency kit. Last week video wasn't okay because I had a connection issue. So today I'm going to try to see if I can do it properly. You must have your pen and paper to write certain things down. I'm going to let you guys know what are those items you must have your diabetic emergency kit. Okay? And why must you have your diabetic emergency kit? So this is what we are going to discuss today. All right, I'm going to wait for others to come online and then we can start today's program. I've wanted to discuss diabetes and Alzheimer disease today. So I might discuss both at the same time. Right? I might discuss both at the same time. So um, okay. So please indicate where you are watching me from and say your name. Tell me your name, where you are watching from. Um, the line is already buzzing. I just come online and everybody is already sending questions. Everybody wants me to discuss type 3 diabetes and Alzheimer. We're going to take a poll. We're going to take a poll. Do you guys want me to repeat the last weekend topic, the emergency kits, or do you want me to discuss today's program about type 3 diabetes and Alzheimer disease? Can you guys let me know which one do you guys prefer? All right. I need to know which ones you guys prefer. You guys want me to discuss, to repeat the last week video, or you want a new video, a new topic, type 3 diabetics and Alzheimer disease? What do you guys want me to discuss today? I'm waiting for everybody to come online and then we can start. And then we can start. How are you? All of you, how are you? How are you? Okay, I'm going to juggle in between both topics. I might be discussing Alzheimer disease and I might be discussing Alzheimer disease and type 3 diabetes, and at the same time, I might be jumping into diabetics emergency kit. Let me see what this person says. Let me see what this person says. Margaret, you are welcome. We're You are welcome. Uh, what? Which one do you guys? I'm taking a poll. I want to see. What? Which guys do you guys want me to discuss? Repeat the last week video, the last week topic on uh, the last week video on emergency kit, or you want me to discuss about diabetics and Alzheimer? Let me know. Let me know. I'm waiting for everybody. Let the people come online and then we'll start. Olubumi, you are welcome. How are you? How is your family? How is your family? Olubumi? How is your family? All right. So I'm battling. We discussed. I promised to repeat last week video about what you should have in your diabetics emergency kit. Because last week the video wasn't clear because I have a connection issue, and I promised to repeat it today. I've already scheduled to discuss about type 3 diabetics, and Alzheimer disease. Everybody will be wondering what is type 3 diabetes, or you have not heard about type 3 diabetics. Okay, we just there is type 3 diabetics, but it is not yet uh, finally medically on the medical journal approved. They are still studying it, but circulation has gone around on for everybody to start knowing about it, about type 3 diabetes and the linkage with Alzheimer disease. Okay, so now what should you put in your diabetics emergency kit? Okay, what should you put in your diabetes emergency kit? Why do you need to have the diabetes emergency kit? That's the question you have to first of all ask yourself. Why do I need diabetes emergency kit? I've said it several times. When you are diabetics, you are prone to several complications unexpectedly. Emergencies may trigger unannounced. Not everybody knows how to manage diabetics and live with it. It's only few. It's only few that knows how to manage diabetics. So those that doesn't know how to manage diabetics they are opening themselves to several emergencies or complications. And when they do come, they come unannounced. That is why you must have diabetes emergency kit prepared. And I said, if you have a car, if you own a car, you must have diabetes emergency kit in that car. It must be different from the one you have at home. If you are working in an office or you have a business somewhere apart from your home, maybe you have a shop, you must have your diabetes emergency kit permanently in your workplace. Okay? Now, if you are a caregiver or you have a child, okay, that is diabetics, I recommend you find a school that has the facility to attend to children that are diabetics and enroll your children in that school. Yes, it's going to be expensive, but one benefit is that that school has a facility. They know how to handle children that are diabetics. So in case of emergency in your absence, they know what to do. Now, if you cannot afford to put your child in that school that has facility for diabetics, then you opt to go. Then you go and enroll your child on a public government school that doesn't have the facility for diabetics. Now you have to prepare diabetes emergency kit and then let the school know the status of your child diabetic situation, and then let them know, give them those diabetes emergency kit to keep. And you have to let them know what to do if this and that happens. This is what to do. If you have a child and you enroll them in the school that doesn't have facility for diabetics, you must have diabetes emergency kit in that school. And let the teacher know, let the school know, let the headmaster or the headmistress know that my child is diabetes and this is the emergency kit and this is how to use them should there be any emergency. Now, if you yourself, an adult, is a diabetes, and in your workplace, you must have your diabetes emergency kit. And you must let at least a colleague or your workplace know your status. I know not everybody wants to divulge their health status to their workplace. But even if you don't want your company you are working for to know your situation about being diabetic, at least let one or two of your best friends in that workplace know about the situation that you are diabetics, and then let them know that you have your diabetes emergency kit there. So in case there's an emergency, they know where to find your kit and they know how to help. All right. So okay. Uh, so these are the reasons, the few reasons why you must have your diabetes emergency kit. If you are leaving home and you are not returning that night, maybe you're going to be sleeping in a friend place or your boyfriend place or your girlfriend place, you must make sure you have your diabetes emergency kit with you at all times. Okay. Now, if you are traveling out of town, you are to the village, from the city to the village, or from the village to the city, you must have your diabetes emergency kit with you on that trip. And for the number of days you're going to be out of town, you must make sure you have your kit with you there and there. So these are some of the reasons why you must have your diabetes emergency kit. Okay, these are some of the reasons why you must have your diabetes emergency kit. Okay, now while I'm waiting, I'm just being slow because I want people to come online before I start. Okay. So being prepared in the event of an emergency is important, especially if you have a chronic health condition like diabetes. Okay, being prepared in the event of emergency is as important, especially if you have a chronic health condition. Right now, uh, what is diabetic emergency? Okay, let's first of all define what is diabetic emergency. Okay, uh, no, I'm discussing the diabetic emergency kit. Since I didn't get response on the no, what did you say? Since I didn't get response on the type 3 diabetics and Alzheimer, so I decided to rebroadcast this. So if I have time, maybe after this broadcast, I will repeat, I will go over to the next topic. Okay. So, wow, so many messages. Let's finish this one first. Let's finish this one, then we'll go to the next one. All right. So let me, what is diabetic emergency? Okay. Um, Diabetic emergency is a scenario like natural disaster. For instance, all of a sudden you have a power outages, or you have a flood unexpectedly, or you have an earthquake unexpectedly. These are all emergency. So as we have diabetic coma, we also have diabetic emergency. An emergency can occur if you're diabetic unexpectedly unannounced. Okay, if your sugar level drop below the normal levels, you might it's going to come with several symptoms. Maybe it start with the minor symptoms, mild symptoms, and you're not recognizing it that your sugar level is dropping, and then you keep ignoring, or you could not recognize the symptoms. You get to a state that your sugar level drop so below that you are going to be confused, shocked, and lack, and then fatigue. Okay, and you pass out. These are emergency. Okay, and if you have your diabetes emergency there, okay, and then you pass out, somebody sees you pass out, and then they see you wearing a necklace that says I'm diabetic, or they see you wearing a bangle in your hand that says you're diabetic. Okay, the bystanders could help you to say, okay, is that he or she is diabetic and know what to do. So this is what is called diabetic emergency. When your sugar level drop below normal level, it comes with symptoms. First of all, it might start with the mild symptoms, and you might not recognize those mild symptoms until you get to a stage whereby the sugar level drop and they send you into shock and you pass out or you faint. These are all emergency. Or your sugar level spikes above the normal level. It is so high that you've started having a blood pressure. Okay, you started sweating profusely. Okay, you become disoriented. You are urinating. Your urination becomes resistant. These are all emergencies, diabetic emergency. Okay, you have something that might lead you, that might cause you to have other complications like high blood pressure or cholesterol. This is what is called diabetic emergency. But the question is that it's not you having those emergency. The question is, when you have those emergency, what can you do to get yourself back to normal? Are you prepared when those emergency come? Are you equipped with the knowledge that, okay, if this thing happen, this is what I'm going to do to get it back to normal? So that is why you have to prepare with your diabetic emergency kit. For instance, if you are out of home, you are in a party or you're in somebody's house, and all of a sudden your sugar level spikes up or drops down, or you fainted, you don't have your kit there with you. The bystander, they might not know what is going on around you. Remember, on every second matters. Every second that passes when you pass out or faint and you're diabetic matters a lot. So it requires somebody that knows that you're diabetic to render you help immediately to bring you back to normal. But when everybody there is, become confused, they don't know what is happening to you, you don't give them any clue, you don't have any emergency kit with you, they don't know what is diabetes. Every minute, every second that you are lying down there matters a lot. So that is why you have to prepare it. Okay. Okay. So that is why you have to get prepared of your diabetes. Now, let me get this one out. Okay. So having all your supplies in one place makes things easier to handle, and you will have peace of mind knowing your equipment is right there if you need it. If you need it. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave it so that you can write it down. Okay. So now putting together a diabetic emergency kit can be both reassuring and practical. Okay. One thing you have to understand is I have too many things here. I'm going to try to. I'm trying to see too many questions. So putting together a diabetic emergency kit can be both reassuring and practical, helping you feel safer while traveling or in a daily life. But knowing what to put in your kit may feel confusing at first. Okay, may be confusing at first. Now there are you can go to the shop, supermarket. You can find already made diabetic emergency kit. They are there. Okay, but it is advisable that making your own is often advisable to make your own emergency kit. Okay, this way you can tailor it to your specific needs. Okay, the general rule of thumb is to make sure you have enough diabetic supplies in your kit to last you for 1 week. Okay, so uh, let's see. Let me see what it says. It's not. Forgive me. So there are already made diabetic emergency kit. Okay, you can buy, but making your own is often the best. This way you can tailor it to a specific need. Okay, you can tailor it to a specific need. The general rule of thumb is to make sure you have enough diabetic supplies in your kit to last at least 1 week. Okay, now let me see who is here. Yep, Olubimi, I will do that. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'll do that. So there are, if you go to the shop, you can get the emergency kit that is already there. Okay. But making your own is often the best. This way you can tailor it to a specific need. Okay. Now, the general rule of thumb is to make sure you have enough diabetic supplies in your kit to last you for a week. Now, um, in case of an emergency, okay, this is why you need your diabetic emergency kit. In case of an emergency, bystanders should be able to know your name and who to call. To know your name and who to call. Let's see. So now that these are some of the reasons why you should have your diabetes emergency kit. Now, the supplies, Olubumi, I'm getting to your supplies now. You got to write, you got to get a pen and paper to write them down. I'm gonna have, yeah, we're going let's finish this. Let's finish this topic first, and I'm going to go to, I promise I'm going to do type 3 diabetics and Alzheimer. Okay, so I can't discuss both of them at the same time. So let's just finish this. I'm going to try to be fast on this one so that I can go the other one and discuss about Alzheimer. So let's talk about the supplies to include. You see, I was saying before, if you go to the shop, you can find them in the shop already diabetic emergency kit, but it's advisable to prepare your own. It is advised to have your own prepared at home, tailored to a specific need, things that you need. All right. So, but at least make sure, okay, you have at least minimum 1 week to 2 weeks supply in that emergency diabetic kit. Now, if you are going to be traveling, there's something okay. All right. We'll get to that expert. We'll get to that aspect. The inside of your kit will look different depending on what kind of diabetes you have and your personal needs. The inside of your kit might be different for the next person depending on the type of diabetes you have and your personal needs. Okay. Before going into diabetes specific medical supplies, let's go over personal identification and medical information you should include. Now, there are two things that are going to be inside those diabetic emergency kit. One is going to be your personal identification, okay, and medical information you should include in those emergency kit. That is one aspect. And then your supplies, your medications are going to be different, okay? So you're going to have your personal identification and your medical information. These are the two things that are compulsory that's supposed to be on those emergency kit, okay? Now, I said before, the first thing why you need those personal identification is that in case of an emergency, bystanders should be able to know your name and who to call. Okay, make sure in that bag, write your phone number, write your name, write your type 2 diabetics or type 1 diabetics. Next of kin to call, you write the name and the phone number who to call. Have it in your wallet, have it in your bag, have it in your car. Okay, it is important you have your name and who to call in case of an emergency, and possible write your doctor's name and doctor's phone number. Okay, remember if you have a family doctor that you have been treating you for a number of years, he or she have known your medical history, and at any given time somebody called him that he has your patient or the patient has an emergency, he or she can help or advise the doctor treating you this is what to do. Okay. Now, in a worst case scenario, okay, in a worst case scenario, it is important for any first responder to know what medications you take and any other health condition you have that will affect your care. Okay. So, in a worst case scenario, it is important for any first respondent. That means first responder means paramedics, the ambulance staff that came to render help to you. They call them first responders or firefighters. Okay, to know what medications you take, any other health condition you have that will affect your care. So first responder could be paramedics, ambulance, or firefighters. So some firefighters are trained in certain, like, to handle diabetes issue. So if the firefighters arrive before paramedics, they can help you because some of the firefighters are trained to do some medical issues. Okay, to give you some assistance before the paramedics arrive. So they should be able to know if you have any other health condition you have that could affect the care they want to give you. Okay. Now, the next one is your medical information should be put in a sealed, waterproof plastic bag and should be included. So, Olubumi, what you requested is what I'm going to be saying now. Okay. So your medical information should be put in a sealed, waterproof plastic bag and should include. Okay. Olubumi, are you ready? You have your pen and paper? Okay. And should include one, a list of any other medical condition you may have. Okay. So I'm not giving you guys, this is your personal identification, now your medical information. Okay. A list of any other medical condition you have must be in that emergency kit. Two, any medication allergies. Do you have any allergies in some medications you are taking? You have to let them know. You have to specify in that emergency kit, I'm allergic to this medication. So they should know not to give you those medications. Because when you are there not responsive to the environment where you are, and there's an emergency, it's whatever information they find in that kit will help them to render you help. So you must indicate in that emergency kit that I'm allergic to this medication. So they already know not to give you those medications. For instance, chloroquine. You know, when we are children, you know, when you have malaria, they give you chloroquine, and chloroquine itches a lot. Like, for instance, I can never take chloroquine because chloroquine is very dangerous to my health. So because of the itchiness and the swollenness of your limbs and eyes. So you have to let them know, for instance, I'm allergic to any chloroquine tablet or chloroquine injection. Okay, so that is number two. Number three, copies of your prescription with up-to-date dosages. So you must have in that emergency kit copies of your prescriptions with up-to-date dosages. Okay, and number four, an emergency contact information. Okay, an emergency contact information. All right. So this is number four, an emergency contact information. Okay. You must have it in those emergency kit. All right. So let's go to number five. It's up to, let's go to number five, number six, number seven, number eight, number nine, and number 10. So let's go to number five. Okay. So number five, copy of your photo ID and health insurance card if you have any. Make sure you have copy of your photo ID, like your name card, in that emergency kit. Okay, this is how they are going to identify you in terms of emergency. You cannot speak, you are weak. They will look into your emergency kit and they'll be able to know who you are. So you must have copy of your photo ID and health insurance card, if any. And number six, names and phone number for your pharmacy and doctor's office. Number 6, names and phone number for your pharmacy and doctor's office. All right. Number 7, make model and serial number of your insulin pump and glucose monitor. Okay, so number 7, make model and serial number of your insulin pump or glucose monitor. Okay. Let's go to number 8. Number 8, your basal rate, insulin to carb ratio, blood sugar targets, insulin sensitivity factor, and correction factor for your insulin pump. Okay, so this is now your personal identification. This is going to fall under your personal identification and medical information. Now we are going to go to your supplies. Supplies are your medications and your syringes, what you need to know. So those ones are going to go under your supplies. So this one is your personal identification and your medical information must be in that emergency kit. Then the next one now we're going to discuss is going to be about the supplies, your medications, and your syringes that must be in that bag, in those emergency kit. Okay. So the inside of your kit, the inside of your kit will look different depending, the type of diabetes you have and your personal needs. Okay, now now on your supplies, let's go to your supplies. So your supplies you should pack enough for at least 1 to 2 weeks. Recommendations from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, trusted source. So if you are going to be living outside town, say for instance, you are traveling to the village, from the city to the village, and you're going to be there for a week, make sure you have 2 weeks supply, because your intention was to go for a week, you might end up spending 2 weeks. So make sure you have extra 1 week supply in that kit. Okay, your drugs, make sure you have extra 2 weeks. Now, if you are going for 2 weeks, say, okay, I'm traveling to the city or I'm traveling to the village for 2 weeks, make sure you have 4 weeks, extra 2 weeks supply. Because your intention was to go and spend 2 weeks, you might end up spending 1 month. So since you are going for 2 weeks, make sure you have extra 2 weeks supply in that kit. Okay. Now, if you are traveling for a 4 weeks, that is a month, you must make sure you have extra 1 month. So make sure you go with 2 months supply, because your intention was to travel for 1 month. Now you might end up staying extra 1 month. So make sure you have extra 1 month supply. So that is how it goes. So if you are going to be for instance, I'm going to sleep in my friend's house for 2 days, then make sure you have 4 days supply with you. So that is how it's been done. All right. So that is how it is being done. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about the supplies. Okay. We're going to discuss about the supplies. Okay. So now, Diabetics Disaster Response Coalition suggests including the following items. So this is now what is going to be the supply that is going to be in those emergency kits. Okay. Number 1. So these are your supplies now. Okay. Number one is insulin and syringes for each injection. Okay. Number two is your glucose meter. And number three is your extra batteries for your glucose meter and insulin pump. Number four is your lancets and lancing devices. And number five is your glucogen kits. Number six is your alcohol wipes. And number seven is water. Okay. Number seven is water. If you guys have any question, feel free to ask any question. Somebody send me a question. Okay, so let's go to number 8. Number 8 is your insulin pump supplies, including extra pump set and insertion devices. Number 9 is your glucose tablets. You can also pack quick carbs like honey, juice, and hard candy. Why did they say you can? They say number 9 is a glucose tablet. Okay, and you can also include quick carbs like honey, juice, and hard candy. So why do they ask you to put extra honey juice or hand candy is? Should you have fluctuation in your blood sugar level, that your sugar level drop below the normal level, you need to boost it up. So if you don't have any insulin with you and you have something like a chocolate, you have something like a small can of orange juice or a Coke there, or or if you don't have, if your glucose tablets have all finished and then you have a fluctuation in your sugar level that just dropped, you can boost it up by just grabbing a juice or a candy or a chocolate to chew in order to boost your sugar level up. That is why they say also pack quick carbs like honey, juice, or hand candy, hard candies. Okay. Number 10 is oral diabetic medication. This is your oral diabetic medication. Okay, you have to pack them. All right. So let's go to number 11. Number 11 is empty plastic bottle or sharp container. Okay, so these are the supplies. These are the supplies you need to have in those emergency kits. Okay, and your supplies should pack enough for at least 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the number of days you're going to be away or at workplace or your child's school. So you're going to pack it depending on your specific need. All right. So those things listed is what you should put in your diabetes emergency kit. Those things listed is what you should put in your diabetes emergency kit. Okay. So putting together a diabetes emergency can be both reassuring and practical, helping you feel safer while traveling or in a daily life. But knowing what to put in your kit may feel confusing. Okay, the inside of your kit will look different depending on what kind of diabetes you have and your personal needs. Okay, so I've gone over the list of personal and medical information that must be in those kits, and then now I've given you guys what supplies you must have in those emergency kits. Okay. Now, there's something you guys have to be wary of. is your expiration date. Okay. Uh, how to store your medications. You have to know the expiration date, how to store your medication. Store everything according to the manufacturer's instruction. Check your emergency kit often to keep track of expiration dates and replace old supplies with new ones. Okay. Uh, okay. So you got to know how to, because having an emergency kit is one thing, and you also have to know how to store them. Okay. You have to know how to store it. Let's go to, that is what I'm going to say now, how to. Okay. So store everything according to the manufacturer's instructions. Check your emergency kit and often keep track of your expiration date and replace old ones with new ones. Okay, let's talk about the temperature and then the expiration date of your insulin. Okay, now insulin has two expiration dates for when it is unopened and when opened. You have to be aware of this. Insulin has two expiration dates for when it is unopened and when opened. When your insulin is not open, it has a different expiration date. And when it is opened, it has a different expiration date. Okay. Now, most type of insulin recommended use within 28 to 30 days after opening. So after opening your insulin, you have at least 28 to 30 days to use it. If you are refrigerating your kits, then unopened insulin can last several months. So once you have not opened your insulin, it's going to last you several months. But once you open your insulin, you have 28 days to 30 days maximum to use it before it expires. Okay, so that no. So if you have multiple diabetic emergency kits, keep in mind that their lifespans will differ depending on how you store them. Okay, their lifespan will differ depending on how you store them. For example, let's go. For example, a kit in your car that includes insulin will need to be replaced more frequently than a refrigerated kit at work. So if you have an insulin that you left in your car, that one you need to be replace them frequently because of the exposure to the temperature in the car. While the one you store in the fridge at work at home, okay, you don't need to replace them often. So depending on the way you store your insulin or your medications, will not determine when to replace each of them. Okay, temperatures matters. There are some of the tips of getting the most out of your diabetic emergency kit and preventing damage. Okay, so these are some of these are some of the tips in order to prevent damage and manage your kit effectively. Okay, so the temperature matters a lot. Temperature matters a lot. Olubimi, I hope you are following. Temperature matters a lot. So let's go to number one. One, aim for room temperature. That is why most medications, they will advise you to store your medications on room temperature. Most medications are stored on room temperature or refrigeration. Okay, aim for room temperature or refrigeration. Two, if you cannot refrigerate your insulin, the CDC recommend the ideal temperature for storage is between 59 and 86 Fahrenheit, which is about 15 to 30 degrees centigrade. Okay, so aim for room temperature or you refrigerate it. If you cannot refrigerate it, then the ideal temperature to store your insulin is 59 to 86 Fahrenheit, which is about 15 to 30 degrees centigrade. Number three, okay, this is how, we're talking about how you can store your medications and avoid damage. Number three, avoid storing your kit somewhere in the direct sun or somewhere it could be damaged by water. Do not expose your insulin, your medication to direct sun, okay, or where it could be damaged by water. That is what it's telling you. Okay. And number four, don't allow your kit to be frozen, and don't use it frozen insulin even after it starts at losing its effectiveness. So once your insulin is frozen, do not use it. Don't allow your insulin to get frozen. And once it is frozen, do not use, because a frozen insulin has lost its effectiveness. Okay? So okay, so now you know how to store now you know the temperature at which to store your insulin or your medications, and things to avoid when storing them. Avoid storing your medications direct to sunlight. Okay, avoid storing your kit where there's a direct sun or where it could be damaged by water. And then aim for room temperature. Store your medication on room temperature or refrigerate it. If you cannot refrigerate your insulin, then it is recommended you store it between 59 and 86 Fahrenheit, which is about 15 to 30 degrees centigrade. But most medications are stored at room temperature. Okay, because temperature matters. Temperature matters. Here are some of the key tips for getting the most out of your medications and preventing damage. So those are the things, these are the tips that I gave you now. Do I have any question? Somebody is asking me, like last time, somebody asked me, do you need, somebody asked me last time, do I need more than one kit? And I said yes. I can remember I said yes, you need more than one kit. For instance, if you own a car, there must be one emergency kit in your car. If you're at work, if you work in an office or you have your own shop in the market, you must have an emergency kit there. Not only do you have an emergency kit there, you have to let your closest friend within your vicinity of your business area that, look, listen, my friend, you must have a closest friends. Let them know your health situation, that I'm diabetic. In case there's an emergency, I couldn't talk, this is what to do. Let them know where to find those emergency kits. Even if they don't know how to apply it, but if somebody can go in there and get it for you, you'll be able to use it to rescue yourself. Okay? So that is why you must have it in more than one place. I know most women have two different bags. There's a particular bag they go to work with it, and there's a particular one they want to go to market or function. Make sure you have your emergency kit in that bag permanently that you go to work. If you cannot keep it in your workplace, make sure it stays there permanently in that bag so that you don't forget it in the morning. Also in the car, make sure you have your emergency kit in the car permanently. And if you have a child that is diabetic, try to enroll them in school that has the facility to handle diabetic children. Okay? Or if you cannot afford to enroll them in such schools, if you go to a public school, you must provide them, make sure they have emergency kit at that school. Let the school know the status of the child. So in terms of an emergency, they know how to use those kits to rescue your child. Okay, so the answer is yes, you must have more than one kit. Do you have any question here? I need question. Because you guys are making my job very easy. I need question. I need question. All right. So I've told you guys why you need emergency diabetic kits. I've given you guys the reason why you need it. Even if you don't have it, I've given you guys the reason why you need it, where to keep it, and how to use it, and how to tell. And if you're a diabetic, please make sure you have a necklace. Customize your necklace that says I am diabetic. In your bangle that you wear in your hand, your bracelets here, make sure you have one customized that says I am diabetic. So in case of an emergency and somebody look at it, they'll be able to know. It's a message you are passing that you are diabetic. Only somebody seeing this that says you are diabetic only have solved 50% of your chance of you being rescuing you alive. Because you don't know who is the bystanders. There must be one out of them that knows or have a clue about diabetes and be able to render help. Okay, so have in your bracelets that says I'm diabetes or your necklace that says I'm diabetes, and in your bag. I've told you guys what information, personal information, and your medical information that must accompany your supplies in those bags, so that in case of an emergency, somebody open it there and they're able to go through it and sees that contact information, your name, the next of kin who to contact, your pasta that says you're diabetic, and then the keys are there. You stand a chance of being rescued from that predicament. Okay, so I've explained to you guys what should be included in those emergency diabetic kits. Okay, why you need it, who you should tell, and how to use it. Okay, so can we go get question? I've discussed it last week. I just said let me just retouch it one more time again, and then because I see everybody wants the message I'm getting here. They want me to discuss about. They want me to discuss about the type 3 diabetics and Alzheimer. To say people are interested in that one, so I'm not going to waste much time on this, and then I will switch over to type 3 diabetics and Alzheimer. Olubumi, do you have any question for me before I proceed? Oh, okay. Before I continue, let me do what I normally do before. If this is your first time watching my channel and you've not subscribed to my page, please kindly do so. Okay, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and then try to share. The more thumbs ups I get, the more you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, the more the channel is made available to others. So if this is your first time and you've not subscribed to my page, please kindly subscribe to my page, comment. I like reading your comment, and then give me a thumbs up. All right. So thank you in advance for subscribing my page. And if you've not done that, please kindly do so. Kindly do so. Thanks. Do we have any question? Do we have any question on this before I switch over? Before I go over to type 3 diabetics and Alzheimer, I want to discuss that. If we have any question on this before I switch over to the other topic. Oh, let's see who's. I'm waiting for questions. If anybody has a question for me, yeah, I'm gonna move over. It's almost an hour now. Hyperglycemia, hyperosmotic system (HH) syndrome. Um, I'm trying to see where I can close here. Yes. Yes. Question, please. So knowing what diabetic emergency look like and how they occur can help you be prepared. Educating your family, friends, and even co-workers about how they can help you if you experience a diabetic if you experience a diabetic emerge. Okay. All right. So you guys are making my work more easy for me this morning. I'm trying. I'm going to switch over to the next topic I want to discuss. Except somebody has a question for me, then I can. If not, I'm going to switch. Anybody? Do you guys anybody learn anything from today's broadcast today? Leave me a comment and let me know if it is helpful from today's topic on this diabetic emergency kit. What did you learn there? Is it helpful to your needs? I need a comment. Leave me a comment. Send your comment and let me know how you feel on today's topic, diabetic emergency. Did you learn one or two things from there? And how does it help you solve the situation? So, friends, leave me a comment, okay? And I'm going to respond back. Um, I'm going to end this program now and then start the next program. And then in the next 30 minutes, I should be back live to start the next program. Once again, I thank you guys for today's topic on diabetic emergency kit. And I hope that this will help you get prepared when you are leaving home or going to work, or if you're a caregiver that is diabetic, this is going to help you get prepared to have your emergency kit prepared. So, friends, I'm going to see you guys in my next video. In the next hour, I should be live again to discuss type 3 diabetes and Alzheimer disease. Once again, I love you guys. Thank you. And keep watching, sharing my page, and then leave your comment, and I'll respond back in due time. See you guys shortly. Bye-bye.